Hi guys, Nik60 here, coming to you with, of all things, a webcomic review. The comic being reviewed today is Res0rt, the Cyberpunk webcomic, written by Miss Rachel Keslensky. A heads up right now, this is my all-time favorite webcomic. There will be gushing, there will be fanboying. I will do my best to rein it in and remain relatively neutral, but I'm sorry, it's probably going to happen. First thing I'm going to say right now is Comic has a Kickstarter going on to get Volume 2 in print, as well as a reprint of Volume 1, so please go check that out. Now, as to the comic itself, the comic has been ongoing since 2007, and when you look at the first page and then look at the last page, it's pretty clear that there's been a lot of art evolution. Now, that's not to say that the first page is crappy. No, the first page started off at a pretty good art quality, and it has only continued to go up from there. But something else that you notice is the fact that for a cyberpunk webcomic, it seems awfully colorful. Do not mistake this colorful palette as, oh, it's not serious. The storyline isn't going to be serious. The storyline is actually pretty determined to remain in the serious category, and there's a lot of there's a lot of keeping track of what's going on and what has happened in the past of the comic in order to know what's going on in the present, as well as guessing what will happen, and we'll cover that. And I find the storyline itself to be quite impressive. What's the basic, where do we start? We start with Miss Jigsaw Forte, our main character, a alien cat girl, joining the Res0rt game show. What is the Res0rt game show? Res0rt game show is it's basically a criminal death match. Miss Forte herself is not a criminal, but all but her and 3 other contestants are. These are people that are either on death row or serving life sentences. However, her and 3 other volunteers have decided to get in on the show, see if, apply, and then see if they can fight their way to fame and fortune, while the criminals themselves are just trying to get out of jail. Now, her stated motivations for trying to get out of this, get into the show are not in fact fame and fortune, but to get one Miss Daisy Arcanus out alive. The connection there is implied to be like a friend of the family, or she owes some sort of debt to Miss Arcanus type deal. The specifics of that have not yet been revealed 2 volumes later. That's not a problem per se, but we'll get to that. However, a couple things are complicating this, and I will not go over most of them because those are major spoilers. We'll just go over 2 which are minor spoilers. The first minor spoiler is another one of the volunteers, Jason Spades, has joined with the express purpose of trying to kill Miss Arcanus. This obviously doesn't work real well when your job is trying to save someone. The second minor spoiler is Miss Forte is a non-human vampire. Being a vampire, or any of the other dead inside zombies, so on and so forth, yeah, that's a big deal in the society, and by big deal I mean here come the people with the shotguns. Or, I guess, the plasma guns. So, she has to keep this fact about her secret, keep Mr. Spades from killing Daisy, and keep herself alive from everyone else. Things just got real complicated real fast. And that is a substantial chunk of the focus, but it quickly becomes a lot of, I'm not going to say quickly as in it just dives in, but it kind of like sneaks in the fact that everyone's got their own plan, which is where we're going to go next: character development and storyline. There's lots of both. And this is another major plus that I personally find. The characters have legitimate reasons, well, to them at least. I'm looking for the right way to put it. The characters have motivations that go beyond, ooh, this person's bad, they must die, most of the time. Point is, the characters have believable motivations. That's the word I'm looking for. They have believable motivations and personalities. They they have a reason for what they're doing, except the insane ones, and you can believe that reason, or at the very least that they believe that reason. Even if you sit there and think, okay, can we shoot the guy? And there's quite a few of them that are like that. But again, when you're dealing with a cast of convicted criminals and insane maniacs, that's kind of to be expected. And like I said, everyone's got their own plots, plans, and machinations going on, and not just the criminals, of course. We've got the people running the show, and we've got the people behind the people running the show, and we've got some people watching the show that aren't actually involved in the production, but are still planning their own things. It spreads out pretty quickly. And aiding this, as we segue into the next group, is character design. This bright Technicolor palette that this comic is done in aids in the fact that the character designs can be unique and different. There's a lot of differences and very minimal chance of saying, wait, was this person, or this person? Because of this, like I said, colorful and very varied design scheme, and the fact that there's loads and loads of species. So, this person's of this species, and this person's of this species, and these two people are of this species, but there's enough variation that you can tell that they're different people type deal. And that really helps with keeping track of everything, and is another plus, in my opinion. And, again, in the environment that's presented, it seems believable, and I don't know if natural is quite the word, but it is on a space station, so aliens are going to happen. Now, checklist. I have notes. Right. Okay, so, more pluses. Yay. Miss Keslensky is a very engaged artist. And by engaged, I don't just mean constantly drawing, though that is, we get our page every week, so we're happy. Someone's going to shoot me for that one. But she communicates with the fan base on a regular basis. And I don't just mean, here's an alert. I mean, she actually talks with us, answers questions, gets opinions, all kinds of stuff. I'm not saying no other artists do that, but there are some artists that don't do that. And, she's pretty good about that, and that's really appreciated by the fan base, which, another plus, pretty loyal, pretty determined, pretty active themselves. You can look under all but maybe even the earliest pages, and even then have a lot of it, discussions, not just, oh, a nice page, or, oh, I wonder what's going to happen. Actual discussions and what's going on, guessing what's coming up next, and it's like every page. It's not just every other page, or every once in a while, or just when one really huge thing happens. It's pretty much every page, and I think that's pretty cool. Like I said, I've read a ton of webcomics, and yeah, some of them have significantly larger fan bases, but sometimes those larger fan bases don't really have a whole lot of, basically sit down and have like almost a war room type environment of trying to see what's going on, which I personally really like that. If you don't, you just don't have to look in the comments. So, yeah, and like I said, Miss Keslensky gets engaged in this too. I mean, she doesn't sit down and reveal the storyline or anything, but she participates in these, which I think is another plus. Now, here comes the point where in order to be fair, I have to say, okay, what don't I like? I'm gonna be murdered. I don't like the once a week format, but I sort of do. I don't. That's kind of complicated. It's once a week, so you kind of sit there and think, oh, what's gonna happen next? But at the same time, she's doing everything, so you can't really blame her for only updating once a week. And you do have to be impressed that schedule slip doesn't really happen. If there's going to be a schedule slip, it's planned. You know it's coming. She lets people know, hey, for the time between this and this, there's not going to be a comic, and she'll either upload filler art or she's asking for volunteers, but you know it's coming. It isn't, where's our page for the week? What happened? Is she okay? What's going on? You know it's coming, and I personally think that's I think that's, that comes from the once a week format, because it guarantees she will have enough pages ready to do that should life happens. So yeah, personally I don't like the once a week format because I want to know what's going on, but at the same time you can't really blame her for that, because this isn't her full-time job. She's not just an artist. And, okay, she's not just a last resort artist. This is the only thing she does, and she can afford to devote more time to it. So, that's an excusable weakness, but that is the one big weakness that I have to point out. And again, my fanboyness really probably prevents me from seeing anything else. I don't know. Some people consider on-screen death a minus. I don't know. That does happen. Spoilers. But like I said, with the nature of the comic, it's going to happen. Okay, so where do I go from here? Because that really just kind of went out hanging. Okay, we'll talk about the Kickstarter. Let's talk about the Kickstarter. Where are we at? 12 minutes. Okay, I think I can get away with rambling for a little bit longer. Last Resort Volume 1 has gone to print. However, that's, it's been printed, it's been done, the old printer's now gone, and it certainly proved popular enough that she needs to print more. That's part of what the Kickstarter is there for. Up until the point where that old printer went down, she also printed 2 mini volumes, both of which also seem to have done well, but with Volume 2 now wrapped up, it needs to go to print, as well as I said before, a reprint of Volume 1. Now, this brings about a couple things, and Volume 1 will get a redo. The art won't necessarily be completely redrawn, because the way it's done is kind of part of it, but there will be extras thrown into the book that weren't in the first one, which already had extras that, after extensive searching, are still not available online anywhere. I find that quite impressive. It will eventually end up online, but considering how long it will have taken, that's quite impressive. And Volume 2 promises the same thing. A chance to get to read more of the story that isn't available anywhere else online. Will you be lost if you can't see those pages? Technically, no. But I do know that what happened with the first Volume 1 was like a huge hit to the storyline. Positive hit. That would be my phone, and it can be ignored. It was a huge positive hit to the storyline that makes you really start rethinking, say you have one of those maps, not to say that I do, that has all those strings going from characters with each color representing, different, how this person is connected to this person. Yeah, in only a couple pages of that Volume 1, we had to recolor a whole bunch of those strings, add a bunch more, and realize there's a whole ton of characters that aren't up there yet, and it already looks like one of those rubber band balls. Okay. That's probably the best way to put it. So, who knows what is in store for Volume 2 when that happens. And stretch goals involve putting even more out into that, which I personally am very excited for. So, what else is available for that Kickstarter itself? Well, tons of digital goodies, both Volumes 1 and 2, as well as other content. Soft cover, standard editions, artists editions, hint, hint. as well as, and here's a big one, cameos. Cameos are how Volume 1 got out. It was just a straight cameo drive, no Kickstarter or anything. And when you go and look at Volume 2, you can clearly see it's actually stated who the cameo is. Not in the page itself, of course, but below, or if you have the mini volumes that were released, in the front and back. And so it's really cool because a lot of comics have offered at some point or another a cameo appearance. And do not think I'm saying all of them do this, but most of them do in fact call a cameo that person walking by in the background that has a little more detail than the rest of them. These are actual cameos. Speaking lines, plot relevance, a lot of them actually. That was a very big surprise. A pleasant surprise, but a very big surprise. You know, these people are like at the front of their panels, unless there's a bunch of them, in which case most of them are at the front of their panels. There are quite a few of them all on the same panel a couple times, and as I said before, these are like plot relevant cameos. These people, you know, aren't just some person wandering in the background. So if you go for one of those, you can expect to, you know, be more than extra number 87, or I don't know what they're called. Sorry. So yeah, there's the volumes themselves, digital cameos, which can be either a character you design or yourself if you choose. And I'm just going down real quick. Okay, and for the stretch goals, we have, let's see. We have Church of the Endless propaganda pamphlets. I haven't covered them a whole lot because there lies lots of spoilers, but the short version is these guys are a major player in the comic, but not a whole lot of them has been revealed yet. So, being a chance to get a little bit of insight of who these guys are and what their real motivations are would be pretty cool. We have, let's see now, a chance for all the digital things, which hasn't been highlighted on. We have expansion of, let's see now, we have expansion of those Church of the Endless pamphlets, as well as some exclusive wallpapers, it looks like. And the top tier right now is is yet another expansion of the... I think I missed this the first time. Another expansion onto the story, which means basically double the whammies that will come at... I think I just accidentally said a TV trope. It will involve doubling the number of whammies that come out of the special stories that are revealed comic only. Okay, I'm now hyped. I'm sorry, I'm a fanboy. So, again, check out the Kickstarter. Some really cool stuff there. A lot of us are really hoping to see this thing, you know, all the way through. So, also, read the comic. That's important. Reading the comic's important. I have run out of stuff to say without giving away even more spoilers. So, I guess that's my review. Let me know how I did. I know I probably didn't do very good. I apologize. Yeah, that's it for now. Nik60 signing off. See you guys. Check it out, please.